dull. If it's dull, you may want to check what your horse is consuming and adjust his diet accordingly, or perhaps groom him more to bring out the oils in his natural state. Next, you're going to be looking at his personality and his appetite. As you get to know your horse, you're going to be able to tell if he's not feeling well. He's just not going to act like his normal self. Additionally, his appetite. If the horse isn't feeling well, he isn't going to be wanting to eat everything that is put before him. So if the horse is not cleaning up his food like he normally does, go ahead and take his vitals. Some of the vital signs that we're going to be going through today are the mucous membranes, the capillary refill time. We're going to be checking the horse's pulse, heart rate. We're going to be doing a skin pliability test. We're going to be checking his respiration rate, his gut sounds, his temperature, and then we're going to be going over something called the digital pulse. Alright, so the first vital sign that we are going to be checking is the mucous membranes. You can check this in one of two locations. The first location is going to be the conjunctiva of the eye. Right along the lower eyelid, you can pull that down just a little bit if you want to be able to check. However, that is not the easiest place to check for your mucous membranes. The other place that you can check is along the gums of the mouth. Before we begin, I'm going to tell you what the normal is. So when you're looking at the mucous membranes, you want them to be pink and moist, have a sheen to them. If they're a different color, such as a fiery red, that may indicate that he has fever. Brick red would be cyanosis. A purplish or bluish color would indicate lack of oxygen. A yellow color would indicate a liver problem or jaundice. And a pale color could indicate shock or dehydration. So to check this, you're going to come around here and you're going to gently lift up the corner of the horse's lip to reveal the gums. As you can tell, his gums are a light pink and they are moist. That indicates that he is properly hydrated and he is relatively healthy. Alright, the next vital sign that we are going to be checking is the capillary refill time. You can check this along the gums as well. Capillary refill time will give you a good indication of how hydrated your horse is. The normal refill time is going to be 1 to 2 seconds, but you're going to want to know what your horse's normal refill time is because it will change from horse to horse. So to check this, we're going to once again come over here to the side. And you're going to lift up on the side of his gums, and you're going to press into his gums lightly with your finger to blanch the area of color. And then you're going to lift up and count for how many seconds that it takes the color to return to the area. So we're going to do that one more time. And the color returned in about 1 second. That is within the normal parameters for capillary refill time, so he is in healthy condition. So the next vital sign that we are going to take is going to be the pulse. The normal range for most adult horses is going to be 32 to 44 beats per minute. Each individual horse is going to have a different range, so you're going to want to make sure you know what your horse's normal is, and that means checking it when the horse is healthy and has not been exercising. A higher than normal pulse and heart rate is going to mean that the horse is in pain. The higher the heart rate, the more pain that the horse is in. So what we're going to do is we're going to locate an artery. The two easiest arteries to use is going to be the external maxillary artery, which is underneath the jawbone, right through here. And then the next place that you can take the pulse is the radial artery, which is right in the back side of the knee. For most people, the easiest place to do this is underneath the jawbone on the external maxillary artery. So that is where I'm going to be demonstrating it today. I'm going to come over to this side. You're going to locate it with your two index fingers. And you're going to feel what almost feels like a hollow tube. A lot of people describe it as feeling it like a spaghetti noodle. So however you find that and best describe it will work for you. And because a horse's heart rate is so slow, you're going to want to leave your fingers there for a while just to make sure that you're not missing it. I will have my timer timed for 15 seconds. If your horse is a little rambunctious and doesn't want to stand still, you can have them timed for 10 seconds, but you will have to multiply how many times you feel the pulse by a different number. I will tell her when to start, and she will tell me when to stop. Go. Stop. All right. So I counted 9 times, and because I had my timer timed for 15 seconds, we're going to multiply that by 4. So 4 times 9 is 36, which is normal for him, and it is within the normal range. If I'd had her timed for 10 seconds, we would have then multiplied by 6 to get to a full minute. The next vital sign that we're going to do is going to be the skin pliability test. This is a good indicator of a horse's hydration levels. A normal skin test will return to normal within 1 to 2 seconds, and if the skin remains tinted and in a pitched up location, that means that the horse could be dehydrated. But another thing to keep in mind is how old your horse is. As a horse ages, they lose their skin elasticity, and so therefore their skin may remain tinted even if they are properly hydrated. Butters is a little bit older, so his sometimes does remain tinted. What you're going to do is you're going to find a section of skin that is not stretched tight over a bone. Like, you don't want to go over the shoulder blade because that is stretched very tight. So instead we're going to come along the neck, and you're going to make sure that you don't have like a ton of jewelry on or long fingernails that could scratch the horse. What you're going to do is you're going to gently pinch a flap of skin, and you're going to gently pull, and then you're going to count for how long and see when it returns to normal. So you're going to do that one more time, and his went back to normal in about 1 to 2 seconds, which is normal, and that indicates that he is properly hydrated. So the next vital sign that we're going to do is we're going to check the horse's respiration rate. A horse's respiration rate can change depending upon if the horse is just coming from exercise, it can change with humidity, and it can change if the horse is very excited over something. So the way you're going to check the respiration rate is you're going to watch the rise and the fall of the horse's flank. You don't want to watch the nostrils because the nostrils move for a variety of reasons, not just for taking a breath. They're using it to scent the air, and they may move their nostrils if they're excited over something. So normal respiration rate for most horses is going to be 8 to 16 breaths per minute. And you need to, once again, know what is normal for your horse, because each horse is different, and some will be lower, some will be higher. So a full breath is going to be in and out. So we're going to count how many times within 15 seconds Butters breathes. I'll have my timer start. I'm going to watch his flank rise and fall. Go. Alright, I counted 5 breaths for Butters, and because I had my timer timed for 15 seconds, we are once again going to multiply by 4. So he had 20 breaths per minute, which is on the high end of the spectrum, but you have to take into account humidity and what the horse's regular respiration rate is, and that is fairly normal for Butters. The next vital sign that we are going to take is the horse's heart rate. As I said before with the pulse, the horse's average range is going to be 32 to 44 beats per minute. You will use the heart rate instead of the pulse if you cannot find the pulse with your fingertips. So for taking this vital sign, you're going to be utilizing a stethoscope. Before we begin this, it is important to know that you can use a stethoscope incorrectly. As you can tell, the earpieces are curved in. You're going to want to make sure that those are aimed into your ear canal, such that the stethoscope is actually aiming the sound into your ears. The place that we take the heart rate is going to be along the carpenter, right behind the elbow. So we're going to put the stethoscope on, and you can lightly rub the bell just to make sure that it works. You don't want to pound it because that will harm your eardrums. So what you're going to do is you're going to place the bell of the stethoscope against the chest wall. Then you're going to hold it in an area for a decent amount of time, because if you're constantly moving it around to find it, you will miss the horse's heart rate. What you're listening for is not going to be a typical, what you think of as a heartbeat. It's going to be more of a low whooshing or soft roaring sound. And I will tell my handler when I will have her begin timing, and she will tell me when to stop. I will once again have her time me for 15 seconds. Start. Stop. So for that, I counted his heart rate, and I got 9. And because I had her time for 15 seconds, we will multiply that by 4. And that is once again 36, which is what we got before on the pulse. So now that we've gone over the pulse and the heart rate, I'm next going to talk about something called the digital pulse. We are not actually taking the horse's pulse or heart rate with this, even though it has the word pulse in it. Instead, we are checking the quality of the pulse. So what you're going to do is you're going to come down the leg, and you can take the digital pulse along the fetlock, and it's going to be located between two bones. You can feel a bit of a valley with almost a hollow tube running through it. It is important to note that we are not going to be pressing down when we take the digital pulse. Instead, we're just going to lightly be feeling with our fingers and just barely setting them on the skin. What you're looking for is you do not actually want to have a digital pulse, as a digital pulse is often indicative of inflammation or problems that are occurring within the foot. If you do feel something and it is a bounding pulse, you're going to want to consult with your vet and make sure that you know the cause of this and that it is not normal for the horse. The next vital sign that we are going to go over is the horse's gut sounds. We want to be able to hear a consistent gurgling, rumbling noise within the horse's gut. A sound such as constant running is considered hypomodal, and that means the system is trying to flush toxins out of the body. If there are no sounds, that means that a section of the digestive tract is not actually processing the food correctly. And then you can also hear a pinging noise, which means that the horse might have distension colic. So the way that you check the horse's gut sounds is you're going to check them in 4 areas. It's going to be the upper and the lower quadrants on either side of the horse. You can do this in one of 2 ways. You can use your ear pressed against the horse's flank, or you can utilize a stethoscope. So I'm going to show you how to use the stethoscope first. Once again, you're going to put the stethoscope in your ears. You're just going to place the bell of the stethoscope up against the horse's flank. You can hold it there for a while. You want to be able to hear some consistent sounds. And he does have gut sounds in that quadrant. Even if one quadrant has gut sounds, that may not mean that all of the quadrants have the same gut sounds. So we want to check all of them to make sure that the entire digestive tract is working properly. So we're also going to use the lower quadrant. And I also hear gut sounds in that area. So we're going to move to the other side, and I'm going to show you how to use it with using just your ear. I'm going to move around the front of the horse for safety reasons. So when you're use your ear to check the gut sounds, you want to be extra careful because you can be putting your head in the dangerous location. When I check it, I prefer to look towards the rear of the horse so that I can keep an eye on the horse's back legs and see what they're doing, as that is the way that the horse would most likely try to strike out if he were very upset with me checking his gut sounds. So I'm just going to come up here and I'm going to lay my ear flat against his flank, and I'm just going to listen for gut sounds. You can also hear them on that quadrant. And as you move to the lower quadrant using your ear, that is the most dangerous area that you're going to be checking, so you need to be extra vigilant and make sure your head is not going to be completely in the strike zone. We also have healthy gut sounds in that quadrant, so Butter's entire digestive tract is working. The very last vital sign that we are going to be taking is going to be the horse's temperature. The normal range for a horse is going to be 99.5 degrees Fahrenheit to 101.5 being the normal. Once again, you need to know your horse because the horse can be above or below that range as his resting temperature. Anything above 102 degrees could indicate a fever. You need to be aware, however, that exercise and being in direct sunlight will change what the horse's temperature is. So to use this, we are going to be using a digital or a mercury thermometer. Today I'm going to be demonstrating how to use both of them, as there are differences and similarities between the two. One thing to be cautious of is that a digital thermometer will often read a little bit lower than a mercury thermometer, so you need to be aware if you get a higher temperature with a digital that the horse may be even higher and hotter. So, first you're going to take your thermometer and you're going to have petroleum jelly. This is to lubricate it so that it is more comfortable for the horse. You need to remember that you're never going to directly stick your thermometer into the petroleum jelly, as that will contaminate the rest of the container, and we don't want to be spreading those germs around with the other horses. So you're going to use your finger to get some petroleum jelly and then coat the thermometer. You're going to want to remember to turn the thermometer on, and we're going to come around to the back side of the horse. It is important to remember not to stand directly behind the horse, as that is a very dangerous area to be in because the horse cannot see you. You are in his blind spot. So we're going to stand just slightly to the side. As we take this, we're going to gently push the tail to the side. You're never going to lift it straight up because that is not a natural position for the tail and you can harm the horse. So to take this, you're going to gently insert the thermometer into the rectum. And then you're going to gently push it to the side to make sure that you're maintaining contact with the rectal wall. And you're going to hold the digital thermometer there until it beeps. This has been beeping. If you can't read it, you may have to clear petroleum jelly off the screen. And this says that he is 99 degrees. Having worked with Butters in the past, I know that that was within his normal range, and so he is not running a fever. Next, I'm going to be showing you how to take the horse's temperature using a mercury thermometer. There are a few important differences that you need to remember when using a mercury thermometer. One of those is that you need to remember to shake the mercury down to the bottom of the thermometer so that it is below 98 degrees. You want to remember to keep a decent grip on the thermometer so you do not send it flying and accidentally break it. It's below 98 degrees. Another important difference using a mercury is that you're going to want to have a string and a clip attached to the thermometer, as you have to leave the thermometer in for 2 minutes or more to receive an accurate reading. So once again, you're going to coat the thermometer with petroleum jelly. Once again, we're going to come back here, and we're going to gently push the tail to the side and insert the thermometer in the same method that we did with the digital. We're going to go in, and then just slightly angle it to the side such that it is touching the rectal wall. We want to touch the rectal wall instead of putting it into feces so that we are actually taking the horse's temperature. Then you're going to take a clip and you're going to attach it high up on the horse's tail so that if the horse swishes the tail, it will not become dislodged. And now we're going to wait for 2 or more minutes so that we receive an accurate reading. My timer will time that for me. So now that 2 or more minutes have elapsed, we're going to remove the thermometer. So we're going to come back here, remaining to the side. We're going to gently push his tail out of the way. You're going to pull on your string and remove the thermometer. You can unclip it from the tail at this point. Because you need to be able to see the thermometer to easily read it, you're going to just use the tail and wrap it around to remove the excess petroleum jelly. You can also do this with the digital, however, if it's not on the screen, that may not be necessary. So as you read this, you want to make sure you do not grab the end such that you would be changing the temperature. You're going to want to grasp near the top of it. You need to look at the angle. According to this, he is at 99.2, which is very similar to the reading we got on the digital thermometer. It is within his normal range. Once you're done taking a horse's temperature with the thermometers, you're going to want to remember to properly clean them before you move on and use it on another horse so that you are not sharing each other's horse's germs. You can do this by using rubbing alcohol and rag or a towel and just cleaning off the entire surface. Now that we have gone over all of the vital signs that we use on horses, it is important to remember to take these when your horse is happy and healthy so that you have a baseline and you know what your horse's normal is before he gets sick. I'd like to thank you for watching me today, and I hope you learned something from this video.